So what time is it? It's the 2.1. It's the summertime. It's time to get your summer outfit, get surf, get wet, and of course get laid. Same voice actor, by the way. And most importantly, they just buffed Belle from a nerdy girl into a beach queen. Oh my god, thank you, Yixuan Shifu, for training her right. Now I can die in peace. So today we're gonna get into the pool decision of the patch 2.1. We got Yuzuha, we got Owless, we got Miyabi, and the Yanagi. It has to be the most crazy banner up to the date, because you could see the best team in the entire game with this banner lined up. And it's definitely gonna be Miyabi, Yuzuha, and Yanagi. The FOMO is all over the top, but that's why I'm here. I'll just break it down for you. So let's start with our first ever disorder support. And I use the word disorder because she's not only the first ever agent that buffed the anomaly builds up directly, unless you count Miyabi's Frostburn. She also buffed the disorder damage, but at this stage, it's still too early to tell whether you wanna build your anomaly agent with anomaly mastery or the attacks percentage, because having too much anomaly builds up could be the case, but I would wager that anomaly mastery should be a better choice in general. So let's see what she does. So basically her EX special would bring up the quick assist, and it's gonna deal the off-field damage while building the anomaly. And while she's dealing the off-field damage, if you attack the enemy with the other element, her off-field attack would turn into the same attribute. Like if we attack with Miyabi right after her EX special, her build up would be count as frost, just like the Miyabi, and not the physical, which is her original attribute. And one of her core passive allow her to attack the enemy when she was being off-field, and the anomaly builds up that she does while being off-field would be the same attribute with the one that you're attacking. As you can see, when she's dealing the off-field damage, the anomaly builds up would count as frost, which is the same with Miyabi. And she's dealing this off-field attack with the stack that is called the sugar point, and it seems like you would get 3 stack when you get into the battle. You could also get it from special attack, chain attack, and the ultimate, so her playstyle does feel like Vivian in some way, but with different functionality. And no, her anomaly builds up doesn't count as her damage. It's gonna be 100% count as your main DPS damage. So you don't have to worry about her anomaly builds up would dilute your main DPS damage. This is incredible. And every time when she used this stack, the enemy would receive the damage over time. That would also generate anomaly builds up. Just like the one when you use the skill, it will be your DPS attribute. So not only that she buffed the anomaly builds up to the team, she also built the same attribute anomaly for the team. This is absolutely crazy for any anomaly teams out there. So do you want to pull for Yuzuha or not? It really depends on if you have an anomaly team on your account or not. It could be a huge buff to Miyabi team if you're not playing the Mono Ice team. And speaking of Mono Ice, I think Miyabi, Sokaku, and Yuzuha could work, even though they would get less stun, but we gotta test it out. And of course, if you have planned to pull for Owless, you definitely want to get Yuzuha for Owless, along with Owless signature. DPS nowadays really need their signature weapon. And of course, if you have Vivian, Yanagi, Jane Doe, or Bernice. But to be honest, any one of these with Yuzuha and Piper is gonna be totally busted, because Piper is of course a really strong physical anomaly too, and she's free. So definitely get her if you like the anomaly team, or maybe you just want another Astra on your anomaly team, because the only weakness of Astra is she couldn't put herself on 2 team. I do see a pretty good amount of potential with Yuzuha and Nico, and of course Sokaku, because Nico and Sokaku, even though they are support, but they also builds up a lot of anomaly. So the verdict is If you already have a lot of good support like Lighter, Astra, or even Trickier or Jufufu, she would be a pretty good addition, but not a must pull. But if you feel like your account is lacking of support, I would say she would give a tremendous amount of improvement to your account. But she's definitely suboptimal when you are using her with the non-anomaly DPS. It's definitely not worth it to pull Yuzuha to buff the critical base characters like Yixuan, Evelyn, Hugo, or Zero Anbi, Julian, Allen, Harumasa, Soldier 11. Just don't put them in the same team. You're gonna waste her potential significantly. Next, let's talk about the second physical anomaly of the game, Alice. And yeah, Alice the Wonderland. She's actually a rabbit. The dwarf rabbit. Like, no wonder she gets scared so easily. That's part of her nature. But I think she doesn't actually feel like Jane. She's more like a burst DPS. And especially her mechanics does feels like the mix of Yanagi and Miyabi. And you don't want any of them stay on the field as long as the Jane though. And yeah, it seems like she's viable when you are playing her with Piper and Jane though, because every time when you trigger the assault, she would deal damage over time with her core passive based off the damage of the last assault. So she does have some off-field capability. This actually surprised me. And on the top left is Alice stack. Unlike Miyabi, she could actually gain stack from just basic attacking, and her stack would also be charged when anyone in the team procs the disorder. It does sound like she's bread and butter with Yanagi, and she also has the disorder buff on top of that. It is insane. I mean, like, props to the Yanagi for being really good at working with non-human being. And of course, she could also get her stack from the EX skill, just like Miyabi. And she could also gain the stack from triggering the assault by herself. And when her stack is full, you could hold basic attack just like when you're doing with the Miyabi. She would dish out a powerful attack, builds up a lot of anomaly, and she would trigger the polarized disorder just like Yanagi. I mean, like, who can get tired of the way she dropped her sword like that? There are just so much personalities on that move. And the polarized disorder doesn't seem to have internal cooldown, so you could proc Alice polarized disorder along with the Yanagi's disorder simultaneously. They wouldn't get onto each other's way. Her ultimate could also proc the polarized disorder just like Yanagi. And hey, you know what? If you're playing Yanagi with Alice, I would highly recommend for both of them to use Fang Metal set. It would be totally busted. So as for the team building, she's definitely gonna be top tier with Yuzuha, or you could replace Yuzuha with other support. The best team that I could see from this point in terms of synergistic, I think it's gonna be Alice, Yuzuha, and Yanagi. And I think her synergy with Miyabi is gonna be one of the most underrated because both of them doesn't really need a lot of on-field time, even though both of them are technically on-field characters. So yeah, Alice, Miyabi, Yuzuha is gonna be one of the most underrated team, in my opinion. But I'm actually skeptical with the synergy between her and Bernice, because Bernice doesn't need a lot of on-field time to work, so there would probably be the moment that Alice wouldn't be able to play optimizedly with Bernice, but maybe she could do a lot more than we expected when she's basic attacking. We will figure this out when she released. And yeah, she could also play with Jane though, not gonna lie, but definitely not the most optimal team. Raze, Piper, Sokaku could work, but you don't want to expect them to be on the top. And for those of you who already have Jane Doe with signature, before you start crying over the power creeping, Jane Doe has like the most broken mindscape too. I think it could increase Jane Doe power levels by about 40% if I remember it correctly, so it's still too early to say. And by the way, forget Miyabi, forget Yanagi, forget Yuzuha. She might not have the Void Hunter tag, but her swim outfit tops everything in the game. Just shut up and mindscape 6 her. And yeah, there's a high chance that she probably rely on her signature, so better prepare for the extra pulls. And now let's talk about Miyabi, the Void Hunter. Do you wanna pull her or not? That's not even the right question. The right question is how far you gonna pull for her. Because pulling for Miyabi even at Mindscape 0 without the signature is basically an automatic clear on the Deadly Assault with 3 stars. And I'm not even exaggerating. She doesn't even live in the same dimension with any other unit. But if you already have Miyabi, definitely prioritize her signature weapon if you haven't pulled for that yet. And that is probably the decision that I regret the most. I regret every single day for not having her signature. The impact is just significant. But if you are like new to the game, then it's probably alright to not have her signature. She could still get a 3 star. And wait. Before you pull for Mindscape 1 and Mindscape 2, and if you're not playing the Mono Ice team, and you already have Yanagi without the signature, get Yanagi's signature before you Mindscape 2 Miyabi. And I think that is the best investment before you get the Mindscape 1 Miyabi, because Yanagi's signature gonna increase her anomaly builds up, and that would enable Miyabi to get even more stack and deals even more damage. And as for Yanagi, if you already have Anbi Trigger team, I think Yanagi is not necessary if you wanna play her as a main DPS, cause I do find myself benching Yanagi all the time ever since I play Anbi 0. Or maybe you are just that Giga Chat who just feels too comfortable with the manual Harumasa, then you probably wouldn't need her. And yeah, that's it. That's all for the pool decision. Don't forget to like and sub, and tell me who do you wanna pull. Everyone who made it to here, I hope you to get a good one on the summertime. And see ya guys.